What's up everybody, welcome back. So the Mega Madness continues on Go Battle Day because in this video we're going to be trying out Mega Venusaur in the Master League. Obviously I tried out Mega Charizard X in my previous video, do check that out, the link is in the description. But Mega Venusaur is actually a pretty solid pick because Mega Gyarados is all over the place and also there are a bunch of Charmers as well, right, to counter Mega Gyarados, which is why Venusaur can actually break apart the Gyarados Charmer cores and also does pretty well against some fighters and also completely walls Zacian and also does well against other water types like Kyogre, Swampert, etc. Right? And for this team comp, I'm going to be running it alongside Garchomp and Melmetal. So there were some really fun battles in here and let's just get straight into it. So we have Garchomp into Gyarados here. Obviously, we have two solid responses to Gyarados. So I'm going to immediately switch into the Melmetal right now. And hopefully they switch out because I really want to line up my Venusaur against this Gyarados. But they are still staying in, that's okay. Which tells me that they probably don't have a solid response to a Melmetal. Going for the Rock Slide Shield Bait there, but unfortunately they don't fall for it. But they come in with their own Melmetal right now. But the good thing is we have an energy lead. So I'm going to be able to get off back-to-back superpowers right now, obviously doing super effective damage in the mirror matchup, and they're going to have to shield this, right? And they're going to go for a move that is absolutely fine. We're going to preserve the shield and I can just line up this Melmetal against this Garchomp, right? This Melmetal is extremely debuffed, so I'm going to commit to the complete farm down here. If they're going to go for another superpower, this is just going to make it easier for Garchomp to farm down. So the max they can do is get off another superpower here. That is absolutely fine because they are double debuffed and we should be able to completely mud shot down. And if the Gyarados comes back in, we have a lot of loaded energy to throw at the Gyarados, right? But they actually come in their Togekiss, we can come in the Venusaur, they make a switch into their Gyarados, this is fine. Again, like I said, Venusaur really breaks apart the Gyarados Charmer cores, and I'm going to shield this Crunch. Luckily, we don't get the defense debuff. I'm going to go for the Frenzy Plant right away here. And this is going to get the shield from the Gyarados. And then at this point, I'm actually going to overfarm quite a bit. I don't want to throw the Frenzy Plant on the CMP, but it looks like they were one away. But I'm going to shield this up anyways. It is another Crunch. Unfortunately, we get the defense debuff this time, but I'm going to build up to 2 and then throw the first Frenzy Plant here. Obviously, this Frenzy Plant is easily going to KO the Gyarados. And then at this point, I'm going to be able to get off the Sludge Bomb against the Togekiss here. This is going to do massive super effective damage, but it's not going to one-shot. So immediately switching to my Garchomp and going for the Outrage here. Now, even though this is double resisted, it's still going to do quite a bit of damage and put this Togekiss extremely low. And I'm also able to get off an Earth Power as well. So Earth Power is definitely going to do enough damage and take out the Togekiss. So yeah, Garchomp is a Togekiss counter confirmed. Just kidding. Anyways, moving into the next battle here, we have Garchomp into a shiny best buddy Mega Gengar. Now that is some serious spice right there. They make a switch into the Sylveon. Luckily, we have two decent responses to Sylveon. I'm going to come in with my Venusaur because Venusaur doesn't have the best matchup against Gengar, so might as well use it in this matchup. And I don't really have to shield one Psyshock, right? We can comfortably let one of these Psyshocks go through, even though it's super effective. We should be able to farm down and come out of this matchup with a lot of loaded energy here. So at this point, I'm actually going to go, expecting the Gengar to come back in. So I'm going to go for the Frenzy Plant right away here. Even though it's resisted, again, Gengar is glassy. So it's going to do quite a bit of damage there. As you can see, that does about 30% of Mega Gengar's health. But they farm down, that's okay. I'm going to be able to align it with my Garchomp once again here. And they load up and switch into their Togekiss. Luckily, we have two, it's like a Gengar double Charm line, which is really cool. But the good thing is we have two solid responses to Charmers. And like, you know, this is like a perfect hard counter team, right, for their team. So I'm going to go for another Rock Slide. I just want to get it off before they can get to a Flamethrower or something. But they come back with their Gengar and they have to go for a Shadow Ball to KO, right? I'm going to call the Shadow Punch here. It is just a Shadow Punch. I'm not going to shield the Melmetal. I'm just going to rely on Garchomp to close this out. Going for the Rock Slide to get a shield from the Gengar. And then they're probably going to overfarm quite a bit and they're going to go for a Shadow Punch here. This is absolutely fine. I'm going to let this go through. And then immediately switching into my Garchomp to avoid getting farmed down. And then at this point, we have a shield advantage, so I should be able to get to 2 Earth Powers. They're going to go for the first Earth Power, gets the shield from the Gengar, and they realize that their only win con is probably to fast move farm down, but Garchomp is still way too healthy for that, right? Going to be able to get to the second Earth Power, and that's going to take it out there. And also another thing that this Venusaur is just a level 40 Venusaur, because obviously keeping it eligible still for the Premier Classic. Melmetal, however, is a level 49 Melmetal. Not fully maxed out, but it's still pretty good. And Garchomp's obviously level 41 best buddy here. So we have Garchomp into an Excadrill here. It's a pretty solid lead actually. And they make a switch into their Zarude. Now I'm going to go straight for the Outrage right now. And then switching, I'm actually going to build up a little bit of extra energy and then catch the Power Whip on the Melmetal. The reason I switch into Melmetal is because Melmetal doesn't have a great matchup against Excadrill. We catch the resisted Power Whip there, which is fantastic, and I'm going to go for the Rock Slide. Superpower would KO from this range, but I don't want to debuff the Melmetal yet. Going for the Rock Slide, unfortunately Rock Slide doesn't quite KO, and because these Thunder Shocks are resisted because of the Grass typing on Zarude, it's going to be a kind of like an aggressive farm down here. I'm going to hopefully farm down before they can get to a move. Luckily, I'm able to do it. Expecting the Excadrill to come back in, but we have a lot of loaded energy to throw. Unfortunately, they get to a move. I'm going to shield this up because I don't want to waste all this energy here. They do go for Drill Run. It is a CMP tie, so going to be able to go for the superpower right now, and we should be able to get to the second superpower before they can get to another move. But they make an aggressive swap into their Zekrom. I'm going to actually build up to 2 superpowers and then switch into my Venusaur here. The reason I switch into my Venusaur is because obviously I want to preserve the Garchomp for basically towards endgame there. So I'm going to go for the Sludge Bomb right now, and it's going to do quite a bit of damage against Zekrom, and they're going to have to go for a move, right? They go for the Crunch, that is absolutely fine. I'm going to just let the Venusaur go down, and then I'm going to come back with Garchomp here. Obviously, Garchomp has a pretty solid matchup again. But actually come in with Melmetal here because Melmetal has a lot of loaded energy. I'm going to actually come in with Melmetal and go for the Rock Slide right now. And they make an aggressive swap into the Excadrill to catch the second Rock Slide. That is very, very unfortunate there. They wasted a bunch of energy, but that's okay because I'm going to be able to come in with Garchomp. I don't have to shield this. We can survive a Drill Run, and then I'm going to build up basically to 100 energy almost, and then go for the Drill Run here. Drill Run will take out the Excadrill, and we should have enough energy to get off another Drill Run against the Zekrom here. Obviously, Drill Run is also going to do super effective damage against Zekrom because of that electric typing, and it's going to take it out from this range. So pretty close one. They made some really nice plays. I mean, that Rock Slide catch on Excadrill was pretty insane, but luckily it didn't cost us the game there. Moving into the next battle here, we have the Garchomp into a Zacian. So this is a kind of a tricky matchup. I'm going to actually stay in because I don't really want to switch into my Melmetal either because Melmetal, I mean, Zacian has access to close combat, right? Which is not good for Melmetal. I'm going to actually shield the first one just to make sure, just to ensure if they have played off or not. I'm hoping they don't have played off, but they have played off. That is unfortunate right now. So at this point, I'm going to actually build up a lot of extra energy and try and catch a played off on the Melmetal, but I think I was slightly late to catch because they go straight for the close combat right now, trying to get to the Rock Slide, but unfortunately, we end up losing CMP on the second close combat. Unfortunately, I'm having to burn a shield here. We are down 2 shields right now, going for the Rock Slide against the Zacian. And I'm really hoping they let this go through, but they do shield that. Actually, Venusaur is such a solid matchup against Zacian, but unfortunately, we're not able to line it up here. They make a switch into the Dialga, which is definitely not a counter to a Melmetal. I'm going to go for the superpower right now. Does get the shield from the Dialga. And I'm going for the second superpower just to burn the clock here because my switch timer is almost back up. So immediately switching to my Garchomp and going for the Earth Power and basically just deleting the Dialga, right? We managed to waste a bunch of energy there, but the unfortunate thing is Zacian's going to be able to come back in. And unfortunately, Zacian does outpace here. Can we get to an Earth Power? Unfortunately, we lose CMP again. That is terrible. This is going to be a play rough. And play rough is going to one-shot the Garchomp there, and Venusaur is going to be able to farm down, right? Venusaur is such a solid matchup against Zacian. But they have a Zekrom once again in the back. So this is not looking good at all. I need to basically land 2 Sludge Bombs and 1 Frenzy Plant. And I need to catch a move on the Melmetal. So I was trying to click the switch window there. Unfortunately, I don't get it in time and the game is pretty much over because once a crunch lands, it's very, very hard to recover from that. So going for the Sludge Bomb right now. And Zekrom is able to farm down. Trying to switch into my Melmetal, getting to a superpower. I'm not able to get there and I decided top left there. So moving into the next one here, we have Garchomp into a Melmetal. This is a pretty solid lead right off the bat here. They make a switch in their Togekiss, immediately going into my Melmetal right now. So Melmetal, I'm going to be able to build up to quite a bit here. So going to go for the back-to-back Rock Slides right now. Could probably overfarm just a little bit, but I think I decided to throw, which is definitely a misplay. Probably should have done a couple extra Thunder Shocks there. But yeah, it's okay. We're going to take out the Togekiss and then they come in with their Gyarados. The Gyarados is definitely not a response to a Melmetal, even though they're running Waterfall. I'm going to shield this up because I have a lot of loaded energy on the Melmetal here. And then we're going to farm up a lot of extra energy and I'm going to bait with Rock Slide. Really hoping that this gets the shield. But they call the Rock Slide bait. So at this point, we're going to go for the back-to-back superpowers. Luckily, we managed to deny the extra Waterfall. So going for the superpower here, it does super effective damage. And then able to get to the second superpower as well. This should get the shield from the Gyarados as it does there. And they're going to be able to Waterfall down, but that is fine. We have a Venusaur in the back, and I'm really hoping they blind through the Aqua Tail here, but that's okay. It's a crunch, that's fine as well. We're going to be able to Wind Web down, and then they come into their Melmetal. I can go into the Garchomp, and this game is pretty much over right now. They can just go, I mean, the best they can do is go for Superpower in this matchup, and Superpower is going to be able to debuff them, so I'm going to overfarm quite a bit, and then go for the Earth Power before they can get to the second Superpower. Earth Power near one-shots the Melmetal there, and they're going to go for another Superpower. This is a debuffed Superpower, don't really have to shield this. We're going to be able to Mud Shot down. And Gyarados is extremely down. We should be able to Mud Shot down there. So again, I just feel like in this current Mega meta, a lot of Pokemon are actually pretty weak to Melmetal, right? Which actually ends up working out. So we have a Giratina Origin on the lead. It's actually a pretty decent matchup for Garchomp. Honestly, this team doesn't really have a solid Giratina counter, but because there aren't too many Giratinas around, especially with Mega Gyarados floating all over the place, it's actually okay. But Garchomp is my best response to a Giratina. And I was thinking they were going to probably bait with Ominous Wind, but they go straight for the Shadow Ball. And unfortunately, now they're going to be able to outpace. So I'm going to have to shield this up. This is probably just an Ominous here, but I'm going to build up to the Outrage and then switch it to the Melmetal. The reason I switch out is I don't want to waste all that energy because they're going to shield that anyway. So might as well come in with Melmetal, even though Melmetal doesn't have a great matchup against the Giratina Origin. We're still going to be able to chip away with Rock Slide. So I'm going to go for another Rock Slide here. Unfortunately, Rock Slide is not going to KO. We're probably going to need another one. And they're going to be able to get to another move right now. So they're going to go for a move. This is probably just an Ominous here. I don't really have to shield this. And we should be able to live the Shadow Claws to hopefully get to a Rock Slide. But for some reason, I think we don't get to a Rock Slide. I should have actually just gone Rock Slide there. I panicked and go for the Superpower. And it's just double resisted. So it doesn't quite KO. And then but the good thing is we can come with Venusaur. This is just an Ominous. I can just farm this thing a little bit. And hopefully get ahead on energy here. We do get ahead on energy. Unfortunately, they have a Melmetal in the back. These are the unfortunate situations with Venusaur. It gets completely walled by steel types. I can just let the Rock Slide go through, but I'm going to build up quite a bit of energy and then go for the Frenzy Plant. My only win condition is if they shield this and they shield that. That is fantastic. Immediately switching to the Garchomp, going straight for the Earth Power right now. Earth Power does massive super effective damage, but unfortunately doesn't quite KO in the Master League, right? Also, this is not a level 50 Garchomp. But they come into their Zacian, going for the Earth Power. It does about 50% of Zacian's health, but Zacian has such a lot of loaded energy. I'm trying to get to a Frenzy Plant. Once again, we lose CMP against Zacian. So I really needed to get that off because I needed to preserve that shield, right? At this point, it ends up being a CMP. That's worst case scenario. I tried to undercharge, but it still KOs the Zacian. But unfortunately, because of that, Melmetal is going to be able to outpace there. So probably I should have undercharged just a little bit more so that I could have got ahead on energy, so that we could have gotten a Frenzy Plant against the Melmetal. But I was pretty close anyways. Moving into the next battle here, we have Garchomp into a Swampert. Pretty solid. Honestly, we have two decent responses to Swampert. They make a switch in that Melmetal. This works out perfectly, right? Lugia, honestly, Melmetal is my only response to a Dragon Tail Lugia. So we have alignment perfectly here. Going for the Rock Slide right now. They go for a move. I don't care even if this is an Aeroblast. But they go for Hydro Pump. And I think they undercharged because that did like very, very little damage, honestly. But that's okay. I'm going to be able to get off back-to-back Rock Slides here. And I'm going to overfarm quite a bit right now. This is just going to be a Sky Attack. It was too soon to be another Hydro Pump. It's just a Sky Attack and we're going to be able to farm quite a bit. They make a switch into the Swampert. I go into my Garchomp. The reason I go into the Garchomp is I'm hoping that they have something else in the back which is also weak to Venusaur. Which is why they wanted to preserve their Lugia, right? Which is why they switched out of that matchup there. So I'm actually going to come in with the Garchomp and then we can let this go through. The good thing is that we can actually survive two Hydro Cannons and I'm going to go straight for the Outrage. I can only get to one move. Might as well just go for the Outrage to do either massive damage or get their second shield. It does get the second shield from Swampert. This is perfect. This allows Venusaur an opportunity to close towards endgame. So I'm going to come in with my Venusaur here. They have a lot of loaded energy. I am going to shield this. This could be an Earthquake, but they bait with Hydro Cannon. That is unfortunate. They make a switch into their Mega Gyarados, which is definitely not a response to a Venusaur. So I'm going to go for the Frenzy Plant. Does massive super effective damage. Immediately switching to my Melmetal and going for the Superpower right now. We're basically going to get this Gyarados out of here and then expecting the Swampert to come back in. Just going to go for another Superpower to do a little bit of chip damage. And Superpower does kind of okay damage. Hopefully we can get to another Superpower, but they decided to throw. Honestly, I think it's a good thing they threw because they could have probably farmed down the Melmetal there, but this is perfect. This is just too soon to be an Earthquake. This is just going to be another Hydro Cannon. We can comfortably tank that. Expecting them to switch into Lugia. This is fine. Lugia doesn't have too much energy, so I should be able to get to a Sludge Bomb here. And Sludge Bomb is going to be able to take out the Lugia, and then Swampert is going to go down to Vine Whip here. So they had like double water in the back. It's like Lugia double water, which is why they wanted to preserve Lugia. But luckily we had like Venusaur in the back and we were able to clean up there. So again, like I said, Venusaur definitely, I guess it's probably worth the investment. Like I said, it can be a core breaker in the meta, but it was so much fun to use. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. A few more Mega videos coming out. Do stay tuned for that. And I'll see you next time.